Hi, I'm Enda Murray, the director of the Irish Film Festival. I'm delighted to be joined tonight in Sydney by Ruth Meehan, the co-writer and director of The Bright Side, and by Gemma Devereaux, who is the star of the movie. Ruth and Gemma, you're very well. Congratulations on The Bright Side. It's a beautiful film, and I wanted to ask you first, Ruth, what inspired you to write this film?
Well, good evening or good morning, everybody. And The Bright Side came out of a bit of serendipity. It was really a combination of me finding a book of an old friend who'd written her own memoirs. I've got cancer, what's your excuse? After I had lost my sister, and whilst I was also going through minding a friend of mine who was ill with cancer, and I was just struck by just the tone of the book, and it really spoke to me. And I felt that the Anne who wrote the book, she was describing a character. I mean, she was describing herself, but I felt what she was talking about was really would be the basis of an incredible character for a fictional story. And so I got in touch with her, and at the time I was writing with another woman, Jean Pasley, and I got in touch with Jean. We had been trying to come up with a storyline, and I said, I just really think if Anne is up for it, just maybe a jumping off point, what she was describing could be the basis for quite an incredible journey if this woman was to go on, and that's really how it came about. And we got some development funding from Screen Ireland here, and started, as you know, the development process can take some time, but I think that was back in 2014, and eventually had the finance together by 2019, 2020 to make the film.
And this is your first feature that you've directed?
That's right. I have made a number of shorts, and I would have had worked quite extensively in TV in terms of drama, or not drama, but more factual and documentary. And I had done some television drama, but this was the first feature. I'd written quite a few features over the years, but not managed to secure the production funding.
Yes, that was I had read about your films in development. I should explain to the audience that Ruth is in the west of Ireland, and so has got a problem with bandwidth. So we can hear Ruth, but unfortunately we can't see her.
A thatched cottage on the edge of the Atlantic, and I'm practically in the one tiny spot where there's more than one bar.
I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous. The film balances humor with grief and loss, and also the connection that is there at the worst of times. This is you've written in your director's statement. So, what was the tone that you were seeking in the film, and how did you go about getting that?
Ultimately, the tone was authenticity was what I was looking for. But like many of us, grief and loss is not one note, and it's a very surprising it's inconsistent, incoherent. It's all sorts of things, and in my own experience, there was also a strong connection with family and friends, and often humor in that, and it also gets us through. But also with Gemma, we were really working to make sure that this character felt like real to us, and that we could see, okay, we're entertained by her humor, and sometimes it's a bit outrageous, but we could see, I would love to think, and both Gemma, and she can talk about this as well, and we needed that humor to really read as also a defense mechanism, and also a coping mechanism, and also when it's real with the women later on, a real kind of healing and love, and so there's a real range that we would have aimed for the humor to travel with, on the back of the emotion, though, never just for its own sake. So every all the time it's expressing an emotion, whether it's dark emotion or whether it's genuinely light and loving and fun.
So, Gemma, I was going to ask you about your preparation for the role, and Ruth has mentioned about the different tones that you were bringing. Do you want to say something about that?
I really feel like when I read the script the first time ever, even, you know, before I was auditioning and I was asked to audition for it, it kind of just leaped off the page for me, Kate, very much from the start. I kind of just understood I just felt like a real understanding for her. And I think preparation wise, I mean, any script I go to, I always end up making a book for every character. So I kind of have a book and it has all my script in it, it has all my notes in it, it has all the things that I want to do with the character. I mean, with this, it has two massive things. It's obviously a lot of research on cancer and cancer survivors and what they're going through, and but also it's a lot of mental health as well. So there was a lot to kind of research with it, which was obviously really amazing to do. And then the stand-up aspect of it as well. But I don't know, it just kind of varies on different roles. Like a lot of the time I'll start with a voice, I don't know why, it'll just come off the page, and then I kind of start building up. But I think with Kate, so much of the writing, like the writing is just fantastic. Like I know people probably say this all the time about projects, but I really do it. Like Ruth's writing is absolutely fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it. So I mean, that's half the battle, half the time when you're doing a script, you know, trying to make it real. So it was always there. And I think me and Ruth very much together just try to just be as truthful as you can to the character and where she is exactly in each moment, you know. So yeah, I don't know, I think hopefully that came across in it, but I think just be as truthful as you can, because I do think she's just completely lost as well. I mean, as much as it is a movie obviously about cancer, it's very much a movie about mental health, being completely disconnected from the world, not really knowing where your place is and not feeling anything, like the numbness and the anger that it is, you know. And it does come out in her comedy.
You're a very convincing stand-up comedian. I wasn't aware that you weren't a stand-up comedian until I read it.
That is a huge compliment, by the way. Thank you. So it's terrifying. Kudos to all of them. Like, it terrifies the crap out of me. Like, there's so much I would have done, even shave my head. Like, there's something about stand-up, because like for me as well as an actor, I always love being different people. So that's kind of why I became an actor. And so with stand-up, like, so in a way you have a mask on, right? Like even as Kate, I have a mask on, I'm not myself. But with stand-up, you don't have anything. And I've even said this to Ruth as well. It's like they were paid, like all those people in that room were, you know, supporting essays, like, you know, and they were all paid to laugh at me, and it still was terrifying. They were all paid, like they were laughing the whole time, and I still was like, oh my God. But yeah, we did that. That was over like 2 full days. All the stand-ups was done kind of in one block, if you get what I'm saying. So I got kind of into it. But yeah, I'd watched a lot of stand-up and trying to think of the movements and, you know, but yeah, afterwards everyone was saying I should take up stand-up, but Jesus, no. But well done. Like, God, honestly, I held my hat up to every stand-up out there. Like, it's terrifying.
Thanks. Ruth, what kind of a visual style did you want for the film, and how did you go about that?
Well, really, I very consciously and deliberately chose as simple a style as possible, because we had a lot to shoot, a lot of locations, and a big cast. But I concentrated on a lot on, and me and JJ Rolfe, who did an amazing job with his team, you know, on the look, the color palette, the contrasting of the locations in terms and costume. Like we very deliberately made a colorful film, because the subject matter was quite dark, and yet it is, you know, Kate is being taken to a brighter place, primarily through a dark place. So thinking about light and color and palette, and also nature, and then the sterility of the hospital, the city, like just all the ways that the visual aspect could help tell the story. But we were clear, we weren't doing much tracking. I wasn't going to be spending a long time lighting a setup that would be a complicated directorial, beautiful shot. I was really focusing on the emotional beats of and making sure with the time I had that the first and foremost, the performance and yeah, the script and the performance and the emotion landed, and that the visuals supported that. But I really couldn't afford to get carried away in very intricate movements, or because the nothing worked if that emotional if the comedy and the emotion didn't work. So we had 5 weeks to shoot it, and a lot of locations, and that was a very conscious decision in how I approached the film with JJ, who was brilliant. Really, he worked incredibly hard and fast, and knew exactly. We didn't have to have much discussion, because I think we both knew what was needed in each scene.
What was the biggest production challenges? It must have been daunting for doing a first feature.
Yeah, I mean, I was very limited in like how many, that going off the end of the pier, for example, and underwater, you know, we didn't think we had the money to do that, and we did consider having her roll off a jetty, and I said, no, this has to be a big moment. This is a big emotional moment. It has to be capped. I was well able to compromise when I had to, and hold on to the integrity of the emotion of a scene, and change locations, or change like I had a crash scene that had to go, and lots of things that had to go because I couldn't afford them. But then it was just Tony Deegan, the producer. I said to him, sorry, I have to have that shot. And he said, okay, we'll make it work. We had one chance, though. We only had one shot, because we couldn't afford to take Stunt Girl out of the water on the bike and do it again. So,
Was that you, Gemma? Was that you on the bike?
It was, but no, not at all. I stunt, like, she was amazing. They were amazing on this movie, Jesus, no. But I would have loved to, but I mean, no insurance in the way. I will not take that credit.
Were there any memorable moments for you on the shoot? What were the most memorable moments for you?
God, I don't know. I just loved this. I really fought really hard to get this role, and I really loved every moment of the process and doing it, to be honest. Like, I mean, I think shaving my head obviously would be one thing that I will remember for the rest of my life. Because as well, just everyone was crying. Everyone was just so emotional, weren't they, that day, Ruth? Like, everyone was just so upset. Really, like a whole room, because it was the second day of filming as well. But yeah, there was just so many things.
I thought it was really, yeah, it was a really important scene. It was really, it was a huge thing for Gemma to do for the film, and we had a lot of discussion about it. But on the day, to be honest, I think it landed the authentic. Like, a lot of women go through that, and you could say, okay, and I've certainly helped people die with cancer, and they go through an awful lot worse in many ways. But there's something about this symbolism for a woman as well. Just losing your hair and all that goes with it. And it was incredibly emotional. I was very emotional about it. You were, we all were. And I think because we recognized we were tapping into some deep vulnerability there, which is just sitting on the top of the very difficult situations that many people go through with cancer. It's incredibly challenging and hard. So, yeah, Thanks. It was incredible.
What, Ruth, I was going to ask you, what do you hope people will take away from the film?
I really hope people find I've a kind of, I guess, a sense that if we're really truthful with our storytelling, then it doesn't have to be exactly the same truth that an audience gets. It just needs to connect with them. And each person will find, if they do, hopefully they will, but will find something that resonates with their experience, and their experience of connection and loss and pain, but also love and connection and going through pain and finding some freedom. So I would really love that people first and foremost enjoy it, are entertained, find it's a good story, but more than that, that there's something for them that is in some way cathartic for people, or gives them something to think about, or contemplate, or take from in so that it's a nurturing and fulfilling experience.
Yeah, we were just talking before you came on, Ruth, about the fact that we're locked down here in most of Australia, actually, but certainly in Sydney. And I think when we're doing this festival each year, we're thinking about bringing stories from Ireland, and I think that this is going to be really heart. Well, it's such a heartfelt story that I think it'll have a real resonance with people who are, you know, doing it tough. What's next?
Well, right. I think with lockdown, everyone's so kind of disconnected and stuck and very lonely, I think, as well. So I do think it reads in that way as well.
Absolutely.
It does. Don't worry, we'll all get through it together. It's horrible.
So, what's next for you both? And work-wise, have you got anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, we made and finished The Bright Side just in time for the pandemic, and so we're just getting the release now here. And it has been, you know, I've been very fortunate to be able to write and develop other work, and I have other work from the past, but I would love to, and my intention would be to continue to make stories that are probably, you know, what I've been writing, there's humor, but there's also something that tracks moments of realization or shifting perception, and I have a couple of scripts that I've been working on. So hopefully get a chance to bring some more of them out to the world.
Fantastic. I look forward to that. And yourself, Gemma?
I've just done a Smother. I think it actually came out over there actually recently. It's a BBC RTE show. So yeah, so we just finished filming season 2 just like the other week. So I mean, if you haven't seen that, definitely have a look. And I have something else coming up as well, but I'm not really allowed to talk about it at the moment. But yeah, so it's all go.
I did come across Smother unexpectedly on the ABC, and it's fabulous.
Did you like? Yeah. And I mean, she's someone I've never jumped into as well, so it's crazy. Like, you know, I love jumping into different characters, and she's someone I've never. She's very different to me, but it's great, isn't it? I wonder, will you get it right? That's the question.
Will I get it right? Sorry, I'm lost. You have to come again.
It's a thriller noir, so it's kind of like a who did it, like my father in a Jensen.
No.
Like, I'm just wondering, will you get it right?
Yeah, no, I didn't get it right. But I enjoyed getting it wrong a lot.
You enjoyed it? That's great. The west of Ireland as well looks beautiful, right? I bet it makes you miss the west. The west is beautiful, which is where you are, Ruth. Lucky.
Yeah, I am looking out at the rain.
Whereabouts are you, Ruth?
I'm just outside Roundstone and Dogs Bay. You know, I'm in a little cottage between Dogs Bay, Roundstone and Clifton on that road. And the weather is a bit all over the place as well, but it's beautiful. I've been in the sea as well, even if it's freezing, and it's very, very refreshing.
Good on you. The Sky Road. That's it, out of Clifton. Yes. I was just talking this morning with Matthew Bissonnette about the shoot in Carna for Death of a Ladies' Man with Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah. Beautiful film.
A beautiful film and beautiful part of the country. It's one thing that I've really missed is not getting to Galway, which is something that I've done for the last 7 years. But hopefully next year. Gemma, we had a chat with Paddy Slattery last night, and so Broken Law is another film which we're featuring. So maximum respect to you for that one as well.
Thank you very much. Very much.
Thanks a million, guys, for taking the time, and thanks, Ruth, for taking the time from your holiday. We much appreciate it, and good luck with the work in the future, and congratulations again on a fantastic film. Slán agus bana.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a million, guys. Bye-bye.